Hey, what's up guys? This is MJ100K. Today I'm going to give you 5 awesome tips that will help you pass your ASE mechanic certification tests. But first, the theme song. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wrenches in my top drawer of my snap-on box. I think I'm missing. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pliers in my bottom drawer of my snap-on box. Get ready to fix some cars. Get ready to fix. Let's go! Tip number 1 is you're definitely going to have to study for these tests, just like any other tests. Just working at a shop is not going to be enough to get you ready for the tests. And here's why. A lot of the test questions that they ask you are theory-based, and they're not going to be stuff that's generally going to happen a lot in an actual shop. But if you're able to answer the questions, it's definitely going to help you in the real world. And the way that I used to study is I would get the test preparation books. There's a couple brands that I really recommend. Number 1 is Motor Age. This is the one that I use the most. And these Motor Age books, like, they'll have maybe 60 pages of information on the subject. And then, let's see, this one in particular has 90 practice questions that will get you ready for the ASE questions. The practice questions are not the exact same ones that are going to be on the ASE test, but they are similar. They are going to be worded in a similar way, and they're going to go over a lot of the same type of subjects that are going to be on the actual tests. So I used to use the Motor Age, like I said, and the Delmar. The Delmar is actually really good as well. They're both really good. These guides are usually going to cost you 25 to 30 bucks each, and the test itself may be 50 or 60 bucks. So the way that I would study though is I would definitely give myself about a month for each test. Sometimes I would take 2 at a time. I would still give myself about a month of study. You definitely want to read through the whole study guide and then be able to answer all of the questions, and not just answer them, but know the reasons behind each answer. What I would do sometimes is also I'd make up a few of my own questions and I'd type them up, and I would have, let's say, a page of questions, then a page of answers. And every day I would wake up, I would look through the questions maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And before I went to bed, I would look through the questions 5 or 10 minutes. And then throughout the day, like maybe in the evening, I'd study for about an hour, hour and a half. And after about a month, you should be ready. Tip number 2, don't take too long to answer each question. You want to basically read through the question, think about it a little bit, and if nothing is coming to your mind as you're just drawing a total blank, you want to move on to the next question. It's a timed test, so you want to make sure to answer every single question. If you don't know the answer at all, you could just write a note on the paper to go back to that question later. Another reason why you don't want to take too long on each question is not all of the questions are even scored. A lot of times ASE, and they'll tell you this on their website, is they'll put questions in there that they're trying to gauge people's knowledge of maybe a new technology that's coming out. So they want to see how much people know about it already before they actually introduce it as a question. So if you get a question on there and it's just off the wall, you're like, I have no idea what they're talking about. This wasn't in any of my test preparation guides. I've never seen this type of procedure or technique, and I have no idea what they're even talking about. Don't sit there and look at the question and try to figure it out. And, you're taking up a lot of time where you could be answering other questions that you do know more about. So if you get a question like that, I would usually just put C. Like any question I have no idea about, I'll just pick a letter and I'll just put that every single time. So I'm hoping maybe 1 or 2 of them might be randomly right. But I never take a lot of time trying to figure out questions. I have no idea what it is. I'll just put an answer and I'll go to the next one. So if you don't know at all, just move on to the next question and be done with it. The first 2 tips are pretty general. They could work on any test, but this one here is specific to ASE tests. And this is what one of my professors at Community College of Philadelphia told me years ago, and it's definitely worked. You want to look out for keywords like always and never, because in the automotive industry, cars are made different ways for different people. Something could be true for 99% of all cars, and then there's 1% of car that it just doesn't work on. So you want to watch out for words like always, because always it's hardly ever going to be true in the automotive industry. Also, terms like never is just the opposite, basically. So if you see something like let's say, for example, if you get a question and they're usually worded like technician A says this, technician B says that, and then so that's the answers, click A or click B, and then C is both technicians are right, and then D is neither technician is right. Even if you have no idea on the topic, if technician A says, oh, cars always do this, and then technician B says, cars never do that, I'm just going to pick D, that they're both wrong, because, I mean, always and never, it's almost always going to be wrong. So there you go. Watch out for always and never questions. So tip number 4, and this is a basic test taking procedure too, but you almost always want to stick with your first answer and don't go back and change it. If you have gotten a question and you thought about it and you came up with an answer and you say, oh, this and this and this, blah, 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 this is the reason why I'm picking that. When you go back through the test, if you have reasoned through it and you feel confident on your answer the first time, just leave it there. Because a lot of times people will go back and they'll change their answers, but they'll actually had the right answer the first time, and the second time they changed it, and then it was wrong. So if you feel confident the first time you put the answer down, then leave it that way. Now, if you are taking the test and you just have some epiphany at the end or near the end, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, now I know, and you're sure, then you could go back and change it. But if you're just kind of sure, I would just leave it. So tip number 5 is reduce your anxiety. And I know that's easy to say, but if you prepare properly for the test, you should have a very good chance of passing. But some people get really nervous for tests. And, you know, I understand that there's, you know, you spent all this money, you spent all this time studying, but I'm going to give you a tip that'll help you reduce your anxiety for tests and job interviews and anything in life. So I learned this from a psychologist on YouTube named Noah Elkreef. So his philosophy is that a lot of these negative emotions that you have are based off of your thoughts and your interpretation of your thoughts. So long story short, if you think that there's a possible bad outcome, like I'll give you an example for when I had my interview at Toyota years ago. It was, you know, it was a big interview. I definitely needed the job. I had just been laid off from Cummins, and this was going to be the biggest interview of my life. But I saw some of his videos, and he was saying, listen, you don't know what the outcome is from everything that happens to you in life. So, like, let's say if you were to become nervous for a job interview, your thoughts might be, it'll be good for me to get the job, and it'll be bad for me not to get the job, right? But you don't know that for sure. You don't know for sure if you're even going to like this job. You don't know for sure. Maybe you'll get there and you're actually not qualified and you feel terrible, and you know, they kick you out after a month. You don't know. So you're assuming that you want the job when you start to have negative feelings that you think you might not get it. But if you go into it with the mindset of, I don't know for sure if this is going to be a great fit for me or for them. I don't know for sure if I'm even going to like this job. So it takes some of the burden off of you when you go into the interview. You're like, or in this case, going to take the test. You might think, okay, I don't know for sure if I'm going to like this job. So I'm just going to go and do my best for the interview, and I'm going to feel good about whatever happens, you know? So then you start to become less nervous, and that's how it was for the interview. So when you're going to take the ASE test, you don't need to think, oh, it'll be good if I pass the test, it'll be bad if I don't pass the test. Let's say you don't pass the test. I mean, so you're out $50, $60, $80, whatever. But then guess what? Maybe you'll study harder for the next test. You'll learn something that you really needed to know, and you'll use that information when you're at work, or if you're working on your personal car. That could save you a lot of money or help you to figure out something that nobody else could figure out. So don't feel bad don't look at it as a bad thing if you fail the test. And I know that's easy to say, but it's actually true. I will tell you, I failed one of my ASE tests the first time I took it, the manual transmission test. And it was the last one I needed to be a master tech, and I failed it by like 2 questions. And I was sad, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to study hard. I'm going to take it again in a couple months. And I studied harder. I went and asked one of my professors from community college some of the questions that I felt were kind of tricky. And when I went back and took it again, I passed it. So don't feel bad, or don't even look at it as a bad thing if you fail. Just go in there, study hard, use the tips that I told you about, and you should be fine. One other bonus tip to reduce your anxiety is you don't have to tell anybody that you're taking the test at all. Like, I know sometimes you might tell your friends, like, yo, I'm taking these tests. Oh, I want to get a better job, or I want to get a promotion. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, well, okay. But then if you tell everybody and then you go take the test and you fail, and then they're like, hey, did you pass that test? And they were like, oh, no. So you might be nervous to tell people, or disappointed to tell people that you failed. So one way to get around that is don't even tell anybody you're taking the test. Like, if you pass, then you tell them. So those are my 5 tips. Thank you for tuning in. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll try to get to all of my questions. And have a good one.